The forest of Ravens Peak loomed before me, its towering trees like skeletal fingers reaching for the sky. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, and the only sound was the soft rustle of the wind through the branches. As I stepped off the path, the silence was broken by the distant howl of a wolf, sending a shiver down my spine. The canopy above grew denser, casting the forest floor in a deep, emerald-green gloom. The trees seemed to close in around me, their trunks twisted and gnarled, like the limbs of some ancient, long-dead giant. Every step I took felt like a betrayal, as if the forest itself was watching me, waiting for me to make a wrong move. I had always been drawn to this place, with its whispered tales of hikers who ventured in and never returned. Some said it was the compasses that would spin wildly, as if the very magnetic field of the earth was distorted within these woods. Others claimed to have seen shadowy figures darting between the trees, their eyes glowing like lanterns in the dark. As I walked, the silence began to feel oppressive, like a weight pressing down upon me. Every snap of a twig or rustle of leaves made me jump, my heart racing with anticipation. I tried to shake off the feeling, telling myself it was just my imagination, but deep down, I knew it was something more. The forest seemed to be shifting around me, the trees rearranging themselves in ways that defied logic. I stumbled upon a clearing, only to find that it was not a clearing at all, but a thicket of brambles and thorns that seemed to have grown up overnight. Every step I took felt like a gamble, as if the forest was deliberately trying to confuse me. I spotted a hiker's trail marker, half hidden behind a bush. My heart leapt with hope, thinking I had finally found a clue, but as I approached, I realized it was not a marker at all, but a piece of torn fabric caught in a branch. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I realized I was not alone in the forest. The compass on my wrist began to spin wildly, its needle dancing across the face in a maddening pattern. I tried to calm myself down, telling myself it was just a malfunction, but deep down, I knew it was something more. The forest seemed to be playing a twisted game with me, toying with my perceptions and my sanity. I stumbled upon an old campsite, the ashes of a long-dead fire still smoldering in the center. It was as if the hikers who had camped here had simply vanished into thin air, leaving behind no signs of struggle or foul play. I felt a creeping sense of dread as I realized that I was walking in their footsteps, following the same paths that had led them to their doom. The wind picked up, whipping the trees into a frenzy and sending the leaves swirling around me like a vortex of gold. I stumbled and fell, my compass spinning wildly as I struggled to get to my feet. As I looked up, I saw a figure standing at the edge of the clearing, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The figure began to move towards me, its eyes fixed on mine with an unspeakable hunger. I tried to run, but my legs were frozen in terror, unable to move as the figure loomed closer. The last thing I remember is the sound of my compass spinning wildly, its needle screaming in a maddening dance. And then, everything went black. When I came to, I was lying on a hospital bed, surrounded by doctors and nurses who seemed to be staring at me with a mixture of concern and curiosity. "You were brought in by a rescue team," one of them explained, "after you were found wandering the forest, confused and disoriented." I looked down at my wrist, and saw that my compass was still spinning wildly, its needle still dancing across the face. But it was not just the compass that had changed, my name tag now read Ravens Peak Hiker, and I had no memory of who I was, or how I got there.